starts at approximately 7:30 a.m. And if you also see us, it might also be because you've decided you really like to eat in the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Anyway, I'm here today to tell you about the real deal about rotations. I'm now 4 rotations down, 4 to go. Farm Carrier Pathway defaulters for the win. and none of them are here. It's all about the Pathway kids, who I know were the only ones who had the schedule to show up. But I do feel like my rotations have given me a lot of wisdom, and as you can tell by what I wore to my rotation today and to my interprofessional ASSP, a real sense of true professionalism. I definitely don't have as much wisdom as some of our residents, faculty, or our beloved Marianne, but I do feel like I have enough to give you guys a little bit of insight. First things first, you have to figure out the rotation wardrobe situation. It's a trickier situation than you might think, especially if you're single, because it's really a balance of professionalism and trying to impress. Let's face it, dating opportunities are slim to none. Once you've started spending all of your waking hours in a hospital. For single ladies especially, I suggest erring toward the more risque outfit on rotation. May I suggest slipping into something a little more comfortable, like this. For skit night, but for rotations, lose the tights. And cover it with your white coat, just a little bit. For men, I suggest asking your female companions, or perhaps your more style-savvy male counterparts, what color they think looks best on you, and rocking that color on round. You should also ask whether or not you should choose to rock facial hair, because some people really do fear the beard, if they're a Giants fan or not. Then you should wear a medium-tight business shirt in that color that looks the best on you, one that's tight enough to show your shape, but loose enough to hide the teeny tiny pot belly you probably gained while studying your snacks in the library. And then you can pair it with a sharp tie or bow tie a la Dr. Peroni. For those of you with chest hair, don't be afraid to show a little off either. Men and women alike. If you remember nothing else, wear a non-Giants baseball hat. You should especially do this if you're at the SS site. It's a great way to start a conversation and to establish rapport with most San Francisco natives. But whatever you do, don't wear brown shoes with black pants. Just don't do it. Patients in the hospital do know their fashion laws, so make sure you obey them. Otherwise, you might also lose out on that good rapport, and we know we don't want to do that. For male and female student pharmacists alike, the white coat is definitely the key piece of the rotation wardrobe.
Without embroidery.
I have some on my other white coat. But this one, no. And the white coat can not only transform your not-so-professional regular self into a professional almost instantly, But it can also disguise the fact that your outfit might not be incredibly hospital appropriate. Or clothe you if you happen to be naked. Anyway, your white coat is really important on rotations. And trust me, you will find yourself wishing your white coat pockets are all individual Mary Poppins bags, because the reality is that we student pharmacists are kind of like traveling musicians / mostly vagabonds. We have no office, no real place to stay, no one really wants us hanging around anywhere, not even patients. So we have to cart all of our essentials, coffee, calculator, cafeteria money, highlighter, pens, notebooks, phones, snacks, and of course our Coda Kimball Therapeutics books everywhere with us throughout the hospital. But back to my main point, your white coat is really important on rotations. In all honesty though, the term white coat is really a misnomer. The only time your white coat is actually white is at the white coat ceremony. P1, really it's all downhill and dirt from here. Give up trying to make your white coat actually look white, because it won't. It'll probably look more brown. The number of stains you have to bleach out of your white coat is the truest sign of your seniority in the School of Pharmacy. And as you can see, I'm pretty high up there in the ranks. I've been here a while. My rotations have included many a clinical experience with highlighter, chili, pen ink, and by far the worst offender, coffee. As I think you can tell, I've got a lot of clinical experience with all of those items. Tip from the pros, invest in some bleach, wear gloves while using it, and don't touch your eyes. And now that we've addressed the appropriate rotation garb, we can move on to some of the less important things, namely clinical pearls to remember on rotation. Rotations really do help you develop your clinical judgment and teach you the real-world practice of pharmacy that you just don't learn in lecture. Like using your best clinical judgment to assess which elevators to take in the hospital. I've learned that there are several factors involved in this type of clinical decision, mainly season, time of day, whether to rule out the stairs based on how badly your feet already hurt, and how many elevators are down for construction. And more recently, when the other students began classes. Another important skill is specifying quantity and timing, especially when you're interviewing your patients in the clinic setting. Tip, patients may tell you that they drink 1 beer at night, but there's a huge difference between an 8-ounce and a 40. Keep that in mind for rotation. Plus, they might repeat that 1 beer several times during the night. And maybe their definition of night is from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Really, you never know what your patients might be doing. So basically, interview your patients like your mom interviewed you when you came home late as a teenager. On rotations, you also realize how important it is to help patients better adhere to their regimen. Personally, I found that recommending patients to take their medications with alcohol makes them much more willing to adhere to their If they're on metronidazole, though, they might not like you so much if you make this recommendation. And P1s, you'll learn why very soon. But recommending that they take their medications with a regular soda or a giant brownie, especially if they have diabetes, might be a better way to go. It's also really important to practice pronunciations before you start rotations. A key part of pre-rounding on your patients is practicing how to pronounce difficult patient and drug names. Otherwise, you will get laughed at, mostly by your patients. Your preceptors and classmates might also laugh at you, though, especially if you use the crock-pot and golf equation to calculate renal clearance. But if you're going to pronounce something wrong, do it with such confidence that no one will